Monogatari is a unique series that does its job of stimulating my big monkey brain while having the complete opposite boy-girl ratio of the fine country of China. So for those of you who have been struggling to sleep at night, which is a common side effect of cute anime woman withdrawal, that's Ka for short, then this is the show for you. For today, we are skipping past the third installment and hopping straight to the fourth solely because I like this one better. Not only will this review give a thorough, comprehensive, and completely untampered summary of the story, but also contains my unbiased, completely neutral opinion of Niseimonogatari. So whether you've watched this series or not, there's a little something for everyone in this video. Our tale opens with Koyomi kidnapped by his girlfriend. Wait, that can't be right. Hitagi spends the next 5 minutes mentally abusing her POW instead of explaining why the hell she tied him up in the first place. Lucky guy. Flashback a day or two before this altercation, and Araragi is making his rounds through the Monogatari Hara. First up is his sister Tsukihi, who talks with Koyomi about growing up. Surprise, that's the theme. Then on the way to Sengoku's house, he has a questionable altercation with a small child. Upon arriving at Sengoku's, he must fight out the love of another small child. As you can probably tell, not much has changed from Araragi's days as a vampire. While his weakness of sunlight may have gone away, his appeal to lollies remain intact. Araragi then heads to Kambaru's house, which goes pretty smoothly until she decides to assault him. Moving on, despite what may have just happened, Kambaru points out that Koyomi's weakness is his kindness towards girls, which is easy for them to take advantage of. Following her discussions surrounding Araragi's potential mistresses, she sends him home where he stumbles upon a man who has the monotone voice of a sociopath and the fashion sense of a famous 90s punk rock band named Green Day. Look at him go. After having a very obscure conversation with punk rock frontman Kaiki, Araragi meets Senju Hara, who hazes him about the sheer amount of girls he's hung out today, which conveniently is the same amount of times I've contemplated what the hell I'm writing since I started this script. It's good. We're good. Araragi, not so good. Upon hearing the name of the famous punk rocker Kaiki, Hitagi decks Araragi and ties him up in the old abandoned school. Look at that, full circle. Hitagi explains that Kaiki is a fraud and isn't in a hip punk rock band named Green Day. He's actually just a lazy cover artist. Before Araragi and Oshino helped Hitagi, Kaiki originally offered to help, but ended up taking their money and leaving before he even played American Idiot. I really hope there's someone out here getting these jokes. Afraid of losing something else important to her, Hitagi tied Araragi up. An interesting way to show endearment, but hey, there's been weirder. Like a true siscon, Araragi breaks his shackles and heads to the rescue. He is greeted home by Tsubasa, Tsukihi, and Keren, who for the first 4 minutes talk about everything but the problem. Tsubasa explains that the twins got involved with a strange man. This strange man just so happens to be the popular punk rock frontman with an occult hobby whose name just so happens to rhyme with Wiki, the famous free information database of untapped knowledge. To no one's surprise, Araragi is joined by a small child. To make up for the 2-episode drought of lollies, the next 10 minutes are dedicated to listening to plot development dialogue as they bathe. After narrowly avoiding being labeled a pedophile by his little sister, Shinobu shares top secret confidential information with Koyomi on how to relieve some pain of the supernatural illness that is now affecting Keren. What exactly must he do? You gotta be fucking kidding me. Come on, you saw this shit coming. Do you know what show you're watching? You wait, this is just the beginning. Hitagi and Araragi meet up to confront the small-time con man occult hobbyist. But before confronting Kaiki, he first must confront his little sister. He first must get pummeled by his little sister. Following the one-way beatdown session, Koyomi reasons with Keren to leave the rest to him. He tells her it's not always about being the most macho, but about having a strong will, something that she doesn't necessarily have. The two sisters seek the will to fight the bad guys from others, not their own morals. They fight for the so-called justice, but haven't even established what justice is to themselves. Keren acts not on a set of belief or values that she has decided to uphold, but instead on the quests that her peers give her. Without personal meaning behind her actions, she's nothing but a fake hero, fighting against whatever someone points at and calls bad. What the two sisters are doing isn't exactly wrong, and Koyomi tells Keren that it's alright as long as that's how they want to live, without any personal morals to uphold, blindly serving the justice that other peoples define. He may not really like what they do, but he is still proud of them nonetheless. He shares this along with words of non-incestuous love with her before heading to the meet and greet with lead singer Kaiki Deshu. The confrontation with hip lead guitarist Kaiki is yet another deep and sophisticated talk, one that weaves us through the questions of what makes a lie, if truth actually exists in this world, if fact actually exists, or if it's just the most popular opinion. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of deceiving, and a whole fucking lot of information thrown out there. And if you want more detail, be sure to check out my Kaiki character analysis. With Kaiki agreeing to leave town, all of our problems are solved, and everything is wrapped up in a nice, neat bow, with the sisters happy with their positions as fake heroes, with no personal sense of what justice is to them. While that may make them fakes, when it boils down to it, that's just who they are. Okay, that's a bit confusing. The two sisters are fake heroes because they don't act act on their own morals of what is good and what is just, etc. They could be no closer to their real selves because that's just who they are. That's better. I like that one. This second half of the video will start with a bang, as I not only just come to the realization that the Araragi sisters are in fact not twins, but we get to listen to this S tier of an opening. Oh, and this is the first episode. There's no good explanation for this, so we're just gonna move on. Because of that, Koyomi takes Karen to meet Kambaru, and by the time they get there, Karen has chopped off all her hair. Koyomi is riding on her shoulders, just don't ask. And they also met a nice woman who addresses Araragi by Devil Boy. Remember, on his way home from dropping off Karen, he meets a small child, and while talking with the small child, he meets another small child. There's a lot of small children lately, and I don't know how I feel about this. To add to my uneasy feelings back at the house, Araragi's lolly master asks to go to the Mr. Donut to take advantage of the 100 yen per donut sale. Yes, this is where we're at now. Yes, I know you think there's no story development going on, but trust me, it's there. Tsukihi and Koyomi chat a little bit about the future of the Fire Sisters, and this somehow slowly escalates to Koyomi stripping down his sister to check if she has any scars left, because that's how we do things in the Araragi household, where boundaries between siblings were not just meant to be broken, but completely tarnished. At Mr. Donuts, Koyomi stumbles into Kaiki, who gives him information on the two strange e-girls he met as he was saddled on his sister's back. When Koyomi returns home, he's greeted to the two same e-girls standing outside his house. Confident that they're there to exercise him and his lolly master, he approaches them to confirm his conclusion. Okay, looks like shit's going a different way than expected. Apparently, Tsukihi is actually an immortal phoenix that has implanted itself into Koyomi's family. How you'll look at this situation is based solely on perspective and begs the question of what exactly makes someone or something part of your family. Is it blood, shared living, or something deeper like bonds? Kagenui and Yotsugi's perspective, the phoenix has invaded the family of oblivious humans. It plays the role of a fake sister and pretty much acts like a shitty con artist. But to Koyomi, this creature is his sister. Despite what she really may be, none of it really matters because deep down that bond they share is that of a sister and a brother. A bond that, no matter what might shake it, will always be there. With that, Koyomi finds his answer of what he must do. But just to reaffirm those beliefs, you should kiss your sister, right? I'm not gonna lie, that was a little uncalled for, man. I guess he's the only one that can say he's kissed both his sisters on the lips. Congrats. Koyomi and Shinobu go to confront Kagenui in the poised face doll, which of course ends with the Buddhist pacifist getting his ass handed to him once more. While getting the living shit beat out of him, Kagenui lectures him on the wrongs of forcing ideals on others. Araragi turns this around on her later, saying that none of what she thinks actually matters because it's his family. He'd lie to them if it means protecting them from pain. He'd shoulder their burdens if it relieves stress off theirs. He doesn't need them to like him. He doesn't need them to give him anything in return. As long as his sisters think of him as their brother, he will always be there for them. And for Koyomi, that's enough. Kagenui fires back with a bit of philosophy here, but that's a topic for a different time. We could go on another 30-minute tangent on just that. Kagenui loses the will to fight, no longer personally invested to take it any further, and decides to leave and ignore the matter involving Tsukihi. With that, once more, everything is wrapped up. Koyomi shares a nice conversation with his sister before finally closing the chapter on this series. Like every Monogatari series, Nisei is full of questionable jokes, enriching character development, and witty dialogue. And let's not forget the animation I hold too close to my heart. Monogatari has made a name for itself through bashing her eyes with various images, while characters talk about anything from discount donuts to what makes someone their true self. It's the contrast of being a comedy and a show grasping complex moral topics that seems to draw me in every time. It's a lighthearted show, yet it's also heavy. It's simple and cute, yet also dark and sophisticated. God, I can't believe I just used that word. Niseimonogatari largely tackles three themes. The first half of the show focuses on what makes something or someone right versus wrong. The second half adds in the question of what it means to be family. And the third and main theme is what exactly makes someone a fake. Niseimonogatari. Niseimono means imposter or liar, and monogatari means story. So Niseimonogatari means the imposter story or liar story. The thing about the three themes that I mentioned is that there isn't actually a right answer by the end of the series. We get multiple perspectives on each theme from various characters. For instance, both Koyomi and Kagenui define fakes differently. Niseimonogatari doesn't try to answer the questions that the themes provide. Instead, it shares with us multiple angles to look at it from. And it's elements like these that always make this series a 10 out of 10 for me. Monogatari doesn't just have great animation, cute characters, and funny jokes. It has a strong grasp of what it wants to be and the story it wants to tell. There's always a reason behind the creation of a new Monogatari installment. Maybe it's a new story that Niso Ishin wants to tell, or a perspective on life that he wants to explore. Whatever it is he may create, you bet your ass I'll be watching it. Congratulations, you made it to the end. I planned a fun surprise for you, but sadly it fell through. It looks like the $3,000 Freddy Fazbear cosplay costume has delayed shipping. I guess you'll just have to tune in next time to see it for yourself. With that in mind, be sure to subscribe to keep up to date. And with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.